this off and get this going. And we start in at the top right-hand side. Our blue Zerg is Armani, taking on the red Terran, Maru, third gen air player of the day. So Maru had Jin Air player to try and actually get a win on the board and advance through to the first qualifying match in the winner bracket. Remember, the winners of these qualifiers go through to the APAC qualifiers, then you go to the global finals, and that's where the Koreans win all the money, unless Cyril gets to meet them, and maybe this year Reno as well. Should be pretty great. And so you do get this set up, just get this ready to go. Some rich guy should just sponsor a best of 11 between Maru and Cyril. Well, then you'd have to fly one of them out to Korea or Europe. Because what's the point of, if you're going to make a best of 11 between Maru and Cyril, why have it on, NA? It's just pointless. As you see, hatch gas and soon to be a pool, getting ready to go. As that barracks dropping down in the main base, so Reaper will start up and getting this ready to roll. Obviously, it's just going to be heading across towards the upper right-hand side. So a little bit of pressure here early from Maru, pretty much the standard. You guys kind of know how this works. You guys know what to expect. Now CV wandering out into the center as our drone production starts up. So Armani, you guys might know not as much about, actually. He's a player who really has been around a long time. Armani was one of the first Korean players who actually qualified, actually played in my tournaments, the tournaments that I run, like on my channel. This is obviously when I was a really small streamer. Like, I had to, what I give away in, a tournament I run over 2 days now is what I would have to, scrape together to put together for a tournament that has to last me, a whole month and a half or 2 months or something. So, in one of those scenarios where it was really cool to have him playing in those events, even though it wasn't exactly the best money at the time. And he has just been around in eternity. Very good friends with Solar, who actually beat in the qualifier to get into this qualifier. So yeah, really kind of cool to see him still around and still doing pretty well. It's really awesome to see him here. So we do have Zergling speed starting up from Armani. And Armani's had those moments of greatness, and he's so back and forth, Armani. Some days he shows up and he looks awesome. And other days, he's just kind of he just kind of flops completely. And everyone's like, well, this is kind of what I expected because I don't really know the guy. Hoping that he can... I don't expect him to beat Maru, and, the Terran fanboy inside me doesn't want him to beat Maru, although it would give us more Maru games in the lower bracket. But also, just in general, right, I just feel like it'd be nice if Armani could put up a good fight in this series. That would be really awesome. See what happens there as we do see this Reaper going to move out, and it's going to go towards the Queens. So link speed about to complete here from Armani, as we do have the just Reaper kind of still moving around, so looking to try and pick up information. Presses forwards, decides to back away. Maru back at home is just building up a few Hellions here. Third CC already on the way down, so he's going to play a macro-focused opener. So you get this up, ready to roll. We do have the Zergling coming down the bottom side from Armani. Nest is on the way up in the natural, so getting that ready to go as well. Our third hatchery about to finishes. We got this wrapped up as a couple of Hellions going to jump on the watchtower with the Reaper, and getting that Viking on the way out from Maru as well. So Viking coming in, Stimpack getting started, and we do have the Baneling Nest about to finish up. As you clean out this Viking, as you clean out this Overlord, obviously you kind of open the way to kind of do what you want, and it's going to be tough for Armani to really scout that. That's why something like this Link sneaking around is really nice, and he's going to get in. Full scout for Armani. How about that to tell you what's going on? And look, that even puts his sling beneath the factory. Delays that Raptor just by a moment or two. Nicely done, as we do have a couple of extra barracks starting. So Maru, well, at least Armani knows what's going on here, right? He knows it's bio, he knows it's a 3cc, so he should know kind of what number of units he needs at what sort of times. information is everything as a Zerg player. Once you have the information as to what's going on, as to what is happening, it becomes so much easier from that point to then say, okay, I need to do this at this time, I need to do that at that time, you know, I need to figure out what's going on, as we do see those Hellions hanging out in the center. And the Viking is going to pick off an Overlord there. That's going to be a nice catch, as a couple Queens coming up this top side. Creep pressing forwards on the Hellions. We'll take some damage again with Stimpack about to finish up from Maru. He'll be able to start getting some pressure on the map shortly, because as the first medevacs come into play, that's when you can really start dropping those Marines around, and then beyond the Hellions you can actually get yourself a bunch of creep spread. I like what Maru's done with these Hellions as well. He's not gone like YOLO, he's not tried to dive them by. He says he doesn't need to. If he keeps these alive, they're only going to power up a bio-based push in a little while from now. So, especially when, you know, you're getting towards 1-1, 1-1's finishing, Armory is done, so you can start 2-2. Means those Hellions can morph into Hellbats to get a bit of healing from the medevacs, and boom, suddenly you have a frontline defense for the first round of Marines. It just gives you that bit of a better trade. Now, obviously, if you dive these 6 Hellions by earlier and you kill 10 drones, you know, that's a much better trade than, you know, maybe being a frontline against some Ling Bane. But if you don't see that opportunity, if you're not certain it's going to happen, having these Hellions out does benefit you later. You know, up until now, he's still using them for creep spread. The map control you have from them is always nice, so you'll see Maru kind of confident enough not to just kind of go for that. I'm surprised those Balins cancel. I'm not sure they need it. I guess if they finish, they get burnt anyways, right? So I suppose it makes sense. First dropships are up on the top side. So this is where the medevacs and Marines start to harass. Obviously try and hit this 4th base, but also try and get rid of the creep spread, which isn't in front of the 4th yet, so they'll not prioritize that for the moment just because it's not in the right place to actually be picked off. If the creep spread starts coming out here, that's when Maru is dropping scans, cleaning it up. The most important thing is access and a clear route to the 4th. That's what's going to keep on pushing. If there's no creep over there, you're going to have a fantastic time. Yeah, if the creep's elsewhere on the map, it can get dangerous, it can allow counterattacks a lot better, it can hurt you if you're trying to drop around and the creep sees it every time. Obviously, map vision is always a strong thing to have as a Zerg player, but, you know, it's most important that you have a push potential on a 4th base. As Maru was kind of going to go up to the high ground there, decides to siege tanks on the low ground instead. So this is Medivacs 3 and 4. Brought a tank and a couple more units across the map to try and fight, as we do see our Bane Hydra army starting to press forwards a little bit. Hatchery is taking a lot of damage, good transfusions to keep it alive. Obviously with the Hydras being the tech choice, this is kind of a sturdy force that should be able to push this back, and you can see now, jumps onto this, the tanks will go down, one of the medevacs felled, and actually will continue in with the Ling Bane to try and pick off a little bit more, but Maru lifts up and escapes out of there as you'd expect him to. The Lurker Den now on the way down. It does mean that Armani is going to use kind of a style that we've seen develop over the course of this patch, which is used quite frequently at Home Story Cup as well, with series against Innovation from Reno and Serral. And it's this Lurker style in ZPT. So what they did to Lurkers, they removed 1 range from them. But as you get Hive, you get Seismic Spines, which push them up to 10 range. And that extra bit of range has truly created a very... it's actually just changed the Lurker into something that people are happy to experiment with here. So it works very interesting because it kind of is that kind of base unit that it can stop the Terran pushing forwards quite a lot, especially with 10 range. It can really just sit back safely and just stop you from ever committing, as these Banes are going to go rolling forwards, and a lot of Marines going down. Hellbat's being picked off as well. This army will be pushed back, so Medevac's turned away as the Hydra's able to do their job eventually, but obviously the 4th base did fall, and that's a shame because it does slow down that income of Armani. Just when he was doing kind of alright, I mean, it was always going to be a threat, and that's one of the issues of losing the, you know, taking so much damage on the hatchery earlier. It doesn't take a lot to then kill it off again a little time from then. And, you know, the creep still wasn't really present out over to this left-hand side, so, you know, Maru is just able to get on top of that again and again. In fact, the creep in general, I feel like could just be doing... It's a weird map for creep, because just especially this pathway over here, you kind of hit here and you're kind of like, okay, let's go through, but then you actually have to go around, which kind of slows it down a bit. You know, there's no good way to get, like, creep here very quickly. This area, I think, is just kind of tough as well. You got to work your way very far forwards from the 3rd, but I feel like Armani could have done a better job of it. It's been tough because Maru's been in that position a couple times over, and so you can't spread tumors while Maru's just sat there. And Now Maru does make a conscious effort to clean the creep on the right-hand side as well. This drop will continue to the right side. As a bailing run by though, Armani will find 12 workers. So he's able to get in, he's able to deal some damage. And now he's looking for maybe a drop into the natural expansion too. As, oh my god, we've got the lurkers on hold position! What a play by Armani! Suddenly, Maru is in a lot of trouble. As we do have the lurkers continuing down the bottom side to attack. The Marine's going to try and drop in the main base. That's not going to work out at all. Suddenly Maru's in a lot of trouble. The whole position on those lurkers catches Maru completely out of position. And, well, Banelings are just going to press on forwards into this. Planetary Forest goes down, and Maru has absolutely nothing left. We're just going to see these Marines continue to fall. And this should just be it, actually. I think Armani just breaks this down right here. Maru types GG. Let's get a live rewind on that whole position lurker play. Because I appreciate that just kind of happened a little bit out of nowhere on the stream. Apologies. So he comes in, the lurker's on hold position, the entire army's just wandering over it, and then boom. All the Marines go down. You don't even, look, he even lifted up so quickly, didn't even matter. GG's. Game number 2. Armani up 1-0. Is that blue Zerg in the top left-hand side? And the bottom right, our red Terran is Maru. I'll turn my microphone down a little bit, guys, because I appreciate it when I got loud. It got too loud. I don't know what to tell you. This microphone just sucks. There's just no two ways about it. It just sucks. Either it clips or it's just too quiet. Like, don't know what to tell you. I can't afford another one just yet. Soon. Soon. Sorry, guys. So game number 2 of this, in this best of 5, as we set on up and get this going. Armani leading the series, and a few drones continue to come on out. Barracks is going to be coming up on the main base, so I don't even think you really change anything as Maru per se. I think the composition was good. I think the way he controlled the game was good. I think you just don't run over 5, 6, 7 lurkers who are trying to hold position. So I definitely think it's absolutely a scenario here where Maru can just kind of do the same. Again, you just have to be a little bit cleaner with how you follow up from there. So that's where you're going to have to go from now. That's Maru, I think, as you do see the command center dropping down on the natural. And that ready to roll. As we do just have the first Reaper starting to move out from Maru. Moving out towards the upper left-hand side. So Reaper from Maru heading up to the top left, and we're just going to be seeing a couple of Queens for your Zerglings on the way out as well. Yes, just starting to pick away at those first few Zerglings, so already getting some damage done. Drone is going to get popped back a little bit. And the dance begins. Reaper actually going to get 3 of the Zerglings. That's a really successful opener. Usually, the Zergs and the Lings can micro back and only really lose 1 Ling, sometimes even none. Maru gets 3 of the 4 there initially. That's enough to actually force 2 more Zerglings to be made. So killing enough Zerglings here has actually forced Armani to essentially sacrifice a drone, making 2 more Lings instead. Command center on the natural starting to morph into an orbital. We're going to see the Ling speed is on its way, of course. Maru does change his style, so from that 3cc in the first game, now adding on the extra starport in this game number 2. I say extra starport, but a starport early in game number 2. And he'll go into an early unit here, whether that's a Viking, a Liberator, or the Tech Lab. Tech Lab's going to be the choice, and he will fusion core it up. So he's going to go for the Valk Cruiser opening. He uses the barracks to go for high ground vision here. We'll kill this Overlord, because he doesn't want to build a Viking before going in towards the Battle Cruiser. He gets rid of that Overlord, and now that makes it that much more difficult to scout here as Armani Ooh, Armani drops a Roach Rod. So, 4-minute Roach Rod, obviously pretty early in the game. Let's keep an eye on his work account, because right now 38 to 39 is okay. If he goes much beyond that, he's probably not going to be Roach Rolling. But if he does kind of cut drones around this set of drones now, there's a very good chance we just see him moving across the map and looking for a pretty quick one. He keeps adding on more drones, which makes me feel like he just wants to play more of a Roach-based defense into maybe like a Lingbane Ravager style of composition. Probably expecting that for the next couple of moments then. 44 drones. I guess that is full 2 base saturation with the 4 gases. A couple extra overlords being added on. He's not making tons of overlords either, though, which he would kind of need if he wants to keep building roaches here. Hellions and the Reaper down to the bottom right side. 8 roaches in production. And he still has some good money to spend, but he's supply blocked again, which even if he wanted to be aggressive here, I actually don't think he can be, because the supply block will just stop him from making the units he should have to actually go across the map. And it's a lot of early game mechanical errors from Armani to start off the second game of the series. A lot of early game mechanical errors so far. You'll see 5 overlords dropping into play then, so finally getting that going. Maru is going to add 2 more factories, and looks like he wants to play mech. I mean, of the battle cruisers, it's always a possibility. It means he'll probably build more than just the 1 battle cruiser as well, go into multiple and use those as a real stepping stone into the later game mech army. Gives you a lot of harassment potential, lets you get out on the map. And now I'm on. He still never actually built extra drones, by the way. Another round of Zerglings just now. Now we're going to see drones being roasted, though. And also drones in the production tabs. It's almost like Armani at the start of this fight was something like, oh my god, you're going to kill my workers. Better already start replacing them. He goes down. 12 workers in total lost there. The Roach Ravager that's across the map does nothing because the battle cruiser was there, able to push this army away. So these couple of units going down as well. That was actually just a couple of lings the battle cruiser got, but it was able to push this back. And Armani, well, he is droning, so he's not committed to this. He will tech up. He's going into the lair as well. As for Maru, the fusion core is researching that weapon refit, so the Yamato kind of coming online. So he's going in for a bit of a wrap around. First Hellion now goes down, and the other Hellions continue to get some damage done as well. BC continue to come on forwards. We do see a couple of battles dropping. These BCs continue to clean up the Roach Ravager here. So 9-10 SCPs going down. And in the end, the Roach Ravager attack does okay, right? 12 workers, I feel, is actually very reasonable, all things considered. Very surprised Maru hasn't just teleported across the map. He'll scan the main and the natural. He wants information. He wants to know drone counts here. He wants to know maybe potential, jump-in teleport positions. Also wants to know if there's lair tech, right? Because that's the real difference between this being very committed all in and very, transitioning into third attack. Now he sees, okay, lairs on the way, so it was quite committed initially. And that should give him the idea that, okay, this wasn't so bad for me. Especially as these BCs come across the map, they're going to start killing off queens here, and well, not really much to defend those queens apart from transfusions on each other. Those transfusions have kind of run out right now as well. And Armani's just keeping in a type GG. The drones lost, the queens going down, the BCs. Once the queens are down, the BCs will continue to kill even more to a match point opportunity. In the bottom right hand side, just never really got going in that game. Kind of felt like he had decisions and then kind of backtracked on decisions and then went for decisions and then was supply blocked, and it just didn't feel like anything was going his way at all in game 2. After a pretty convincing game 1, we saw Armani in the bottom right. As in the top left, our blue Terran player is Maru. Game 3 of our series then. Let's have a look to see what will happen. As again, Maru is tied this up 1-1. WESG champion from 2017, runner-up in 2016, and third place victor in 2018. He's pretty much been a mainstay in the WESG events. Still, still not quite convinced about the time. There was WSG last year, third place match opening game on King's Cove. The draw against Scarlet, that somehow wasn't a draw because Maru forgot he could lift his buildings and float them to the corner. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I still have nightmares about casting that game because I just thought it was never going to end, and I felt like I just didn't know what to tell you guys at the time. It was a real mind blower. And then the players asked after the game, and I was just like, "Oh, I forgot I could lift my buildings." And Scott was like, "Yeah, I forgot he could too. I just thought I could win still." I was like, "Really?" That's crazy. So due to see this Overlord continuing up to the upper left side, and a few Zerglings from Armani moving around early in the game as well. This is a pool first opening, so potential to get a little bit of damage done perhaps as the Reaper's going across the map. He does make the one Marine afterwards though. This one Marine pops up. And just the one Marine with a few SCVs pulled can obviously go a long way to defending this. If you don't have the Marine at all, then you do get into a bit more trouble, as we do have the few SCVs pulled, and the Marine just going after the Zerglings. So, Wing's going to continue towards that Marine, actually, as the other SCVs pulling in. Good surround. Real good surround. So 3 Lings going down there. There's a couple SCVs killed, it's lost mining time gained. I don't think Armani can be too upset at that. As the Reaper obviously comes back home as well, which clears the way to take the base, no problem at all. No blocking going on there. I'd say Armani's quite happy with what these 6 Lings achieve. When you get 2 SCVs, it's already pretty nice, right? You don't want to take more damage than that as the Terran player, because then you're actually falling quite far behind. As it stands, you know, Armani maybe makes up for and gets a little bit more than what he lost committing to the pool first. Reaper gonna pick off the Creep Tumors, so Creep Tumor will go down, and a couple more Hellions on the way out from Maru. Starport is about to complete as Reaper still on the right hand side. Queen here from Armani coming up on the natural. Link Speed finishing up in the main. And 4 more drones building up as well. Roddy was there. We spent 9 hours arguing with the internet. That's so true. We actually spent 9 hours like debating with people on Reddit who were like, well, it's not possible that Maru just forgot you could float your buildings. Obviously, where WSG has some silly rule. And then he straight up comes out and says, yeah, I just forgot I could lift my buildings. Oh, yeah. That was great. We had a lot of we had a lot of heated discussions with the community at that event. It was great. All right, Fusion Core coming up. Maru's going to go battle cruisers again here, so they'll open it up the same way you opened in game number 2. You can't really blame him for it. It worked very, very well. This game, Armani's not going around with any sort of roach drone though. He's just playing that Ling opening, and as the lair is already coming up to complete, now we get to see what he will tech into. And obviously that might just be a bit of a better setup for him here, because it felt like, you know, producing the roaches last game and the supply blocks, all of that really added up to hurt Armani quite a bit. This game he's just kind of playing a bit more regular, and he's not putting himself in a weird position at the start or anything like that. Few Hellions and the Reaper gathering up. It is going to be a Nidus Worms all in. So actually when you see the lair with 1 gas, that's something I should have pointed out earlier. But a 1 gas lair is very typically the Nidus Link Queen attack. So we're going to see Armani getting ready to commit to an aggressive attack. Now, the thing is, a BC defensively here, I kind of like it, because if you can get the Hellions to protect underneath the BC, then you can pull the SCVs in, repair that battlecruiser, and if you keep the battlecruiser repaired, it's very unlikely the Queens are going to be able to out-DPS it. However, Lings get straight in here, and they are not going to get a cancel on the 30C. That is going to finish. The other Hellions spawning, more Hellions coming across the map. Yeah, this actually wasn't that good for Armani, right? You actually lose out on all of your Zerglings. You pick off maybe 2 Hellions. Now he's going to come into the main base, and you see the Overseer is Maru, so you've got to be aware of the potential of a Nidus network. And Armani, this is a disaster, because he's not going to get Nidus up here. If he did, there's already a battlecruiser out as well. Those first Lings diving in, it seems like a great idea, but then you actually don't kill anything, you just lose a lot of your Lings, then you lose a lot of your momentum in the game right away, and it's a, you know, a scenario where you kind of need the momentum, because you need to win this game in the next few moments with the Nidus attack. Now we see 11 drones go down. Okay, the Hellions are still on the wrong side of the map, but they're picking up Zerglings as they go as well. And it's not like we actually see any sort of Nidus play across back at all, because, well, Maru's denying all of the Overlords. Another new Overseer now coming towards the main base. That's going to be his attempt. He'll finally just decide to Nidus out the front, just in case he can't get one up in the main base as well. be seeing Nidus Network is filling up with Queens and Lings. We'll see in the main, drops a change, and there's already, units there, so it wouldn't necessarily kill the Nidus, but when you're aware of it, right, there's going to be more units moving over to clean that up in the near future, no matter what. So do you see the Hellions? Picking up a few more Zerglings. Again, this is a bit tough for the BCs because they have to come a bit further forwards, but you missed the first transfusion, and that's actually a queen with a lot of energy that already goes down. Hellions pull back nicely to deal with the Zerglings, and there's just no way, right? I mean, these queens are still missing transfusions, and Armani, if you're going to do an Nidus attack and the BCs up, you have to hit your transfusions. I don't think it makes a difference here. I think the game's kind of, which is very possible, jumping into this game number 4. Because he did look, honestly, in the longer game, when he actually survived up in towards like a mid-game, Armani actually looked pretty good. So I don't really understand the need for him to, I mean, I know it kind of came down to the lurker whole position, but he was actually doing kind of well without that as well. As we set this up in the bottom right-hand side, red Terran player is Maru. Maybe Armani's just afraid that, the one trick of the lurker hold position isn't going to work again. As in the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg, it is Armani. Three drones on the way out. We're going to see refinery starting up in the main base. And this barracks going to be finishing up in the main in a few moments too. Overlord coming around the side. Still waiting for the opening here. As we do have our overlords moving around. So hatch Trigon's dropped down on the natural at the moment, and there's again hatch gas and a spawning pool to start us off. So moving away from that pool first that we saw. I kind of like the pool first. I mean, you can't really do it every game. Maru gets a bit too on top of it, and it is nice to mix in there though every now and then, especially in a longer series. And I do feel like it gave Armani a decent opening, right? I feel like it gave him a decent little start to the game. It felt good. There's the SCV moving down the bottom side, and the Reaper going to be from Maru moving up to the top side. So Reaper moving in. Going to fight against the Zerglings here. There's a little bit of damage being done. Factory dropping down in the main. There's double gas, so we are going to be seeing a starport coming up as well. So Maru obviously moving away from that 3cc that we saw in game number 1. And since then just keeps going 1-1-1. Barracks Factory starport again and again and again. As we do have the Reaper is setting up on the high ground there. Feelings, Queen, drone, pressing forwards, and well, let's see what Maru wants to do. I mean, he's obviously been playing kind of battlecruiser mech every time he's on this double gas, and I don't really see what he's going to do to change that up necessarily, unless he maybe goes for like a Cloak Banshee play instead. But I think we can already kind of assume a little bit of what this might be. As the Reaper comes down the bottom right, and the 5 drones on the way up from Armani. Getting that ready to go as well as the barracks from Maru lifts up. A couple more Hellions coming into play, and the starport is continuing to come on out. And there's the fusion core. So we do get confirmation for the 3rd game in a row. It's going to be battlecruisers. Honestly, this battlecruiser build really has had me so perplexed through the year. Not perplexed in like, oh, I don't understand why it works. Just perplexed in how in and out of fashion it becomes. Because BCs were like, Utherma was kind of memeing with BCs a little bit before the patch actually updated them. Then the patch came and BCs became the meta game. Like every single game at TvZ, battlecruiser opening again and again and again. And after, everyone was complaining they need a nerf, we can't deal with it. And after about a month, Terrans was suddenly like, man, battlecruisers are terrible. The Zergs just know what to do against them. They figured out how to defend it. I don't think anyone will build a battlecruiser ever again now. And then about a month later, they started building battle cruisers once more. And it's just been on and off, on and off. They're like, yeah, battle cruiser openings are pretty good. And then like a couple days later, they're like, oh god, honestly, I'd never build a fusion core in my life. Don't never go battle cruiser. And over the course of the year, it just keeps repeating. And after this patch, the patch was like, came in, everyone's like, oh my god, no one's gonna open battle cruisers again. Next thing you know, everyone's opening battle cruisers again. It's crazy. It's crazy. And as we do see the 4 Hellions of Maru coming out over to the right side, a couple of Queens pressing forwards. 6 Hellions out on the left as we do see the couple of Queens from Armani coming around. Queens able to push the Hellion Reaper away to the left side. 3 more Spore Crawlers, Spire, 8 more Zerglings. All of this building up as Maru back away down the left. A couple more factories on the way in from Maru as well. And there is this time the BC teleports across, but this time 4 Queens are sat waiting for it. So Armani is very well prepared. 2 Queens taking some shots as the Hellions up the right hand side going to be going in towards the mineral line here. So looking to try and roast some drones. As you have the Hellions just peeking in for a little bit of damage. The BC now going to come across and going to go after this Overlord. So Overlord taking a bit of damage here and going to be able to grab a Queen as well. Able to grab a Queen, make that, not quite 2 just yet, but making its way towards 2 in a second. There we go, 2 Queens dead. In the end, the BC able to get some damage. It is more BCs yet to see the weapon refit upgrade. 3 factories are down for our mech play to get going. Maru's been pretty passive with the Hellions. He hasn't dove them by. He's not gone for the drone kills yet. He hasn't lost a single unit so far. He does send a group up now, which is kind of suggestive that he wants to try and dive in for some workers because it's 5 Hellions in a Reaper. He keeps them at home as well so he can kind of defend against a link counter. So Maru just looking for some opportunity out on the map. Let's here we go. 5 Hellions, 1 Reaper pressing forwards. Roaches coming in. A couple of Hellions going to get turned around just like that as well. You see that weapon refit upgrade still on the way up here. So the battle cruiser able to make a pick off and Maru's still moving around also. 4th base on the left hand side. +1 flyer attack on the Spire. And 2 more armories on the way up from Maru here. So again, 2 more armories up and running. Getting those upgrades rolling. And with the Yamato coming down now, we will start to see the BCs taking the fight. But Armani has survived the early stages, and for the first time, we're actually going to get to see Armani playing a bit of a mid-game going into this ZVT after game number 1. Games 2 and 3, he really just died in the first 5 minutes. Here in game number 4, we'll see him getting Corruptors up, so he's going to have something of an answer to the battle cruisers. You know, the drone count's looking very good. He's going to go up towards 90 drones almost already. So he's about to be on like almost 90 drones. He's dropping an infestation pitch, so there's absolutely potential for Hive here. I'd be surprised if he went Swarmless, honestly. It just doesn't feel like there's much to do with Swarmless in this one as first BC teleports away. Yamato does finish and he will Yamato and teleport and he will just get out of there. It's very close. Just did one to Yamato, one of those Corruptors down, get the cast off. Obviously nice to put that on cooldown already and then, you know, get going again. Venom Pre-Igniter coming up. Magfield Accelerated dropping. +1 vehicle weapons coming in. You do see the Nidus network from Armani is on the way up between the 3rd base and the 4th base. So he is going to start getting aggressive. It is going to be Swarm Hosts. I suppose it does make sense, right? Because he wasn't doing much else on the ground. Yeah. So he's going to get a few Swarm Hosts up. Let's see if they can be successful. Swarm Hosts work well against mech because it's a little bit immobile, right? And obviously you can kind of trade again and again a couple times over, which is typically what you aim to try and do in these scenarios. Out on the left-hand side, the Hellions run by for 7 drone kills, so they're able to get some damage as we do have 2 more factories coming up here. Extra siege tank production, Venom Pre-Igniter about to complete. For a couple more as well, as that roach number continues to rise on up here. But we're really waiting for the Swarm Hosts to come into play because they're going to be the one thing that makes this game open up a little bit. Because then we're going to see, you know, Armani able to get aggressive. Maru will have to start moving around to defend. Here's actually Maru going to send him way up to the top side of the map. And the Swarmhost coming down. It feels like these BCs were so close to Seedless Sniders, but they just didn't quite get there. So instead, Maru has a push going up towards the top, towards the third base. These BCs actually going to run into these roaches that are trying to make their way around. Armani just trying to set up multiple attacks and trying to catch Maru maybe a bit out of position. Maybe trying to catch him a little bit, not paying attention here or there. It's going to be a quick set of Yamatos and teleports out again. Three Corruptors. And now, you just get back home and the BCs can be there to defend and help against these Locusts. So here we go. The first Locust dropping on down. Missile turret is already putting in a little bit of work there. The Blue Flame is obviously one of the most important parts of this. The Blue Flame gives you that extra damage to the Locust and it really adds up. The Cyclone will come into a lock-on for the Corruptors, and a Barracks there is actually going to give the vision to very nearly confirm the kill. Looks like Maru will get the 5th base going without issue. +2 melee upgrades, +2 missile attacks, more Evo Chamber upgrades being invested into as our Adrenal Glands is on the way as well on the spawning pool. So Adrenal Glands up and running shortly. Just improving those Zerglings, and obviously investing towards a Viper as well. It's a good investment, right? You can definitely get a bit done as we do see our Corruptors. Continuing to work our way down this right-hand side. Barracks took quite a lot of damage there, actually, as we do see Lings making a run forwards as well. He's really committed to getting rid of this CC. A couple of SCVs to repair, though, and it will be enough. Some Corrosive Bars will be more than looking to actually connect on the CC or anything. It was repaired, it was good, and Maru will keep it alive as he will hopefully be able to establish his 5th base. He's moving towards that, again, nice little play from Armani to laser a little bit. He doesn't really lose too much in the process, and Armani on 80 workers can obviously trade a little bit and rebuild and go again rather easily. It's exactly what we've seen so far. So here we go. Corruptors flying forwards. We're going to see the Roaches, Banes pressing into a few tanks, firing away, and the Corruptors will turn back around. Go after the Nidus network. Four more Banelings on the way up. As you see, a +2 missile attack upgrade from Armani still coming into play. Another tank up to Sieging, and again a Hellbat tank Thor army moving in towards the top right. Zerglings getting picked up on the bottom side. We do see the Swarmhost coming in and trying to pick off a planetary, but maybe it would have been better to just target SCVs. And you do see the Banes making a play. Going to roll in, kill off some tanks. Thor's in trouble as well. Good blind clouds to help nullify some of the damage there. And it looks as though we're going to see continuing forwards. This Roach Ravager army will chase down that Thor. This tank will go down. And that's going to be pretty much everything cleaned up. Even another Thor coming out the front. Armani's losing a lot of these Roaches. He goes maybe a bit too far forwards. The Ravager's getting blown up as well. Armani is just still maintaining a good drone count and just rebuilding after these fights. Now a Greater Spire on the way, so you can get into Broodlords. That might be tough for Maru, because it really means Maru's got to make a change in towards his composition to actually deal with Broodlords. He's going to start investing into, he already had some Thors, but he obviously lost a few of them just now. But want to build a few more, because they will help a lot against the Broods. So let's have a look and see what happens. As we see, is just going to target down a couple of Corruptors to begin. The Yamato's on cooldown already, so they'll just pick up whatever kills they can before they teleport out of here, and again, it's just nice. Couple Corruptors. These Locusts actually expire before they land, pretty much. It's a bit of a waste of a round of Swarmhost there. So you see Maru is pushing forwards again. Tanks are just not sieged before these fights happen, which means the Ling is already on top of them, which means they just get no damage done. Now he kind of split sieges the rest of these tanks, though. Single blowing Cloud Column just shut down everything. Moving over the left-hand side, some troop spread coming out the front. 3 more tanks on the way, a lot more Hellions as well. +3 melee, +3 missiles. All on the way up too. Still getting some good upgrades. It's going to be another attempt at Locust taking down a planetary. The SCV repair is good enough as the planetary gets some kills. It lowers the DPS so that the SCVs are at least repairing as much damage as being dealt. Things continue to move on forwards. We're just going to see the battlecruisers continue to push in as well. little bit more creep spread being picked away at here as we're going to be seeing Spinecrawler picked off, Queen going down. The Viper's going to get shot down here also, as we do see BCs again going to line up the Armadas. Finally, one of the BCs will go down. There's a little bit of a teleport away too. It's mostly only Corruptors left here though. The Locust now coming in to try and save the day. Starting to drop down. Don't think these tanks are going to have a good time against the Locust, as we're going to be seeing them blowing each other up. He's going to survive with enough tanks, and Thor's takes down this hatchery on the right side. That's where the battle cruisers got to, and they're going to continue up to the top right. No anti-air here, so going to immediately find a whole bunch of drones he can kill. The Corruptors on their way over. No teleport in these BCs. This might be the end of the line for them. Not much more they can do. Maru's the hatchery to put some damage on it. BCs will finally go down as Maru is still pushing with the ground army out into the center. A round of Locusts going to fly up into the sky from Armani. That's going to be pressing forwards in towards this army of Maru, which has to pull away down toward the bottom left. So our army continuing here as our siege tanks being chased. One tank getting picked off already, second tank as well. And the Locusts going down. Hellions, tanks, Thors out up through the center. Corruptors up the right hand side, as we do have the 10 extra Banes morphing in. Armani is holding this off though, right? I mean, he's under a lot of pressure. Maru seems to be consistent on his side of the map. He's denying bases, but Armani still has a good supply for the moment. Let's see if he can take a fight to maybe clean this up a little bit. 5 more tanks, 2 more Hellions, you do see Hellbats, tanks, etc. coming in. This hatchery will be killed. We do have our Locusts continue to fly on down this right hand side. So here we go, the Locust going to fly in, dropping down on a Thor. Tanks firing, more roaches taking a bunch of damage. These Banes rolling around a little bit as well. Maru is still pressing into this, so pushing on forwards, getting this going. We do see the Banelings crashing in, pick off a few Hellbats in the front there. Circle's being picked off. The Spinecrawler goes down. Our Vipers, well, they're in some trouble too, as the Thors are getting some good shots off to pick away at them. And on the other side of the map, the Corruptors are trying to find an opening to caustic spray down a base. Obviously, the BCs are dead. Corruptors don't have much of a use unless they became Broodlords, which maybe just feels as though isn't going to do enough here. As the Thors actually get caught in a blinding cloud, opening this up. Corrosive Bars try and break down some of the tanks, but I don't think there's enough from Armani. I think Maru, even if Maru doesn't win this fight, Armani really is broke when it comes to trying to rebuild from here. Just lost too many bases over too much time, and now it looks as though Maru's going to be able to get this top right-hand side. Really a great game between Maru and Armani, though. A great mech game. And you'll see a couple more Locusts picked off the Zerglings as well. And this one was still kind of floundering around in the top, trying to figure out where they should go next. Bottom left, Corruptors are going to caustic spray this command center, but it actually gets out of range and will come back to land. Now caustic spray is on cooldown. Maru will lose some tanks to Locusts, but again, protecting the space. Now the missile turrets will go up. 3 Corruptors aren't enough. The SCVs will out-repair it. And again, missile turrets are about to be done, so Armani will be turned away. Maru has too much, and Maru will be able to keep himself alive here.